Start recording. Now, week 7 officially closed. It's officially over. Technically, week 8's underway, but the NFL schedule didn't, well, to my knowledge, didn't come out today. So today, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna recap week 7 and make my predictions on some of the big games for week 8. I may even do predictions on most of them, if not all of them. But it's right now. Oh, I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. Started with college. We're gonna go ahead and get started at the scores. So, week 5, we're gonna start at the bottom. We're gonna work our way up on the week 5 schedule, and then we'll go to the NFL, and then we'll look at the schedule for week 8 and I'll make my predictions on some of the big games. So, week 5 college, or week 7 in total, but same thing really. Miami won to Penn State 38-34. Notre Dame lost via forfeit to LSU. Florida State won 37-27 over Iowa State. Mississippi State won 63 to 48. A&M, Texas A&M won 28-7 over Baylor. Auburn won 52 to nothing over Iowa. That's a blowout if I've ever seen one. Washington beat Coastal Carolina 32 to 13. Georgia won via forfeit over North Carolina. Oklahoma, they won 36 to 20 over Ole Miss. Clemson, they won over Tennessee 23 to nothing. Utah, they won 63 to 3 over Texas. Florida won 36 to 22 over USC. West Virginia won 46 to 27 over Maryland. Wake Forest won 34 to 27 over Minnesota. Virginia Tech won 54 to 14 over Pitt. Arizona State won 70 to 42 over Wisconsin. Oregon won 63 to 61 over Alabama. Ohio State won 42 to 8. And what kicked off the college week, last week's big promotional game, Boise State won 68 to 14 over the Las Vegas Raiders. So, that honestly, there were some blowouts and lots of blowouts, but there were some close games I did notice. So, hopefully next week, well, this coming up, well, the rest of this week for football, for college football, we should have some more interesting games. Now, we will move into the NFL scores. We'll move in. We're gonna start to move into the NFL score. And just in case I didn't make it clear, LSU did win and via forfeit. They did win forfeit. They did over Notre Dame. They won via forfeit. In case I didn't make that clear. But now moving into the NFL, which was interesting for a little bit. So we're starting at the bottom again. It's double forfeit losses for the following 4 teams: Atlanta, Washington, Miami, and Green Bay. Those teams did not play. They all received forfeit losses. The Ravens won their promotional game over Michigan State 25 to nothing. So, currently 1-1 in the promotional games so far. Broncos won via forfeit over the Chiefs. Bears won 61 to 40 over the Rams. Lions won via forfeit to the Bucks. Pittsburgh won 64-14 over the Colts. Philadelphia won 46-25. Houston, with my honest opinion, the biggest upset of the week, winning 37-0 over the Cardinals. The Giants won 77-53. What is a defense in that game? Cleveland won via forfeit over Dallas. Seattle won 74-49 over the Chargers. Jets won via forfeit over the Titans. Saints won via forfeit over the Panthers. And wait, no, I read that wrong. Saints won via forfeit over the Panthers, and the Patriots won via forfeit over the Bengals. So there were some upsets in both college and NFL. Really don't know with any teams going into week 8. But I'm going to make some predictions for some of the college games and for some of the NFL games. I just need to. Alright, so college schedule this week. Everyone will just play each other. If there's no division versus division, it's just going to be all out. No division versus division. Everyone will play everyone. So, looking at the top of the division, just going to take a look. Cincinnati and LSU, alright, so top 4, it kind of looks, top 4 games, Cincinnati and LSU, Boise State, Notre Dame, Michigan State and Arizona State, Oklahoma State and Tennessee. If I'm not mistaken, Oklahoma State and Tennessee have played. They have, alright. Alright, so if I'm going to make predictions, I would say Cincinnati wins over LSU. Oh boy, this is a tough one. Boise State, technically now they're the Raiders, and they still got a high rank, but Notre Dame lost via forfeit loss last week. I'm going to go Notre Dame because I saw the way the old Raiders, now the Boise State Broncos, played, and they did not look good. Michigan State over Arizona State. Michigan State last week, they lost in their promotional game. Arizona State, on the other hand, put up 70 points. I think it's a safe decision, folks, to go with Arizona State. And outside of that, there's not really a lot of big games for college since there's no division versus division matchup, so it's hard to rank for division versus division. So not really a lot of games I could really predict on without going back and forth. And honestly, college, it tends to either be a blood or a close game. So, who knows? But now the NFL. This is where it's going to get interesting because this week, schedule's been flipped upside down. You will have D1 versus D6, D2 versus D5, D3 versus D4, D7 versus D8, and the new D9 teams will play each other. Schedule's flipped in my opinion because D1 and D6, it should be obvious the D1 teams are going to absolutely kill the D6 teams. But I'm going to go from D1 to D6 games all the way to the D3 and D4 games. So that's going to be 12 games I'm going to make my predictions on for fun, really, because D9 games I have no clue. Oh, and D7 versus D8 teams, they're really not that impressive to watch from what I've seen. So, Tennessee versus Miami, Titans are winning, no doubt. Last week, the Jets, they've got them to forfeit in, the first half, I think? I'm not sure, I wasn't there, but Tennessee, this week's an easy game. If they do not win this, then Titans folks are frauds. If you guys do not win this Miami game, even if it's a close game, that's gonna prove you guys have major issues. Jets and Broncos. Jets, they came off with a big win last week, and this week they got the old not the old Boise State team. My bad. They got the Denver Broncos. Jets, that big win, I would say they got lots of momentum going in this week, so they're definitely winning. Cardinals, Washington football team. This might be a little bit of a shocker, but I'm going with Washington here, and I'll give my reason. From what I've been informed, the original Arizona Cardinals team, so the team that we have been known to, disbanded. The original FO disbanded. I could be wrong. I could be right. I think they disbanded. Ended. But Washington did lose. So it really is going to depend on which team shows up to play and win. Looking at... Oh yeah, Washington, they were one of the forfeit loss teams last week. And even though Washington still lost, I'm not sure about this new Cardinals team. I mean, if the Cardinals do win, which is most likely since they're still technically a D1 team, they've got. Like, I really don't know with this new team, because if they got all a bunch of their old players, then they should be fine. But if they didn't, and lots of their old players went to different teams, then I really just don't know. I'll leave this one at 50-50, but I would say either team's probably going to win by like a few points. And then you have Houston versus Seattle. Seattle, they put up lots of points. Both the times I've watched them, they put up so many points. Like, lots of points. But now they're going up against a Houston Texans team. For Seattle, this is a time to where, even if you don't win, keep it close. If you keep it close, then you'll show how good of a team you are. If you're Houston, you hope somehow that the other three Division 1 teams lose. You hope the Cardinals, the Jets, and the Titans all lose. If all of those things fall into place, Houston Texans are moving up to number 1. As they have a win over the Cardinals, which, if the Cardinals lose, that's a jump up for Texans even more. So, Texans, they're hoping for some upsets in the rest of the division and hoping to get an easy win against Seattle. Division 2 versus D5, Cincinnati versus New Orleans. Cincinnati. This is an honest question for everyone. What has happened to this Cincinnati team? I can answer the question, but I want to know what people think. I want to know what people think happened to the Cincinnati Bengals. Because it's a good question. Really, it is. Because if you don't know, which I'm going to explain anyways, original FO left. He disbanded the team. No, he didn't disband the team. He left the server to go form his own league. And then the team got disbanded by someone else. Rumor has it, he has come back. Which, my honest opinion, at least should have been suspension for disbanding an old team and then rejoining. But, enough about that. And they gotta go up against this Saints team. Saints I haven't seen play. I have. Saints I did see play. They played Arizona in that really close game. First team to expose Arizona, as I would like to say. And they did get a forfeit win last week, so I go Saints here. Dallas and Philadelphia. I don't think I've seen either of these teams play, but let me check real quick. I know I haven't seen Dallas. Philadelphia is the team I think I have, but I'm not sure. Yes, I have. They were the team to beat Arizona. But things happened, and here we are. To where I don't remember, but really the thing is going to be, is Dallas any good? Honest opinion, I would say no. So I got Philadelphia winning again. Colts and Bears. Bears for the longest time were Division 1. I think there were 3 or 4 for the longest time. And then they they put up 61 points on the Rams, but I think it was trying to make sure I get this stuff right. Yeah, it was their loss to the Jets that kept them out of probably getting Division 1 last week. So they're still in Division 2, and going into this next game against this Colts team, they need a win. Haven't seen either team play. I know for a fact that. So I've got Chicago winning. New York and Tampa Bay. Giants. It seems like according to the scores, they've been on a roll. They really had 77 points against Jacksonville last week. They had a double forfeit last week. They had a double forfeit week 6. So now the question is, what can they do against Tampa? And if they want to prove that they're a good team, they win here. If something happens and they somehow lose, then congratulations, Tampa Bay. But I still have the Giants winning. And lastly, Division 3 and Division 4 games. The Rams versus Browns. I think I already mentioned the Rams, but they, as I just stated, they got 61 points put up on them by the Bears. Cleveland, on the other hand, had a forfeit win over Dallas. I mean, the Rams put up 40 points, but let up 61, and the Browns had a forfeit win. It might be the smarter decision to go with Cleveland here. Jacksonville. Oh, wait. There is an error in the schedule. Jacksonville is listed twice, and Carolina is not listed. So, I'm going to get. If I had to guess, Jacksonville, what has happened to them? I don't know. But if I had to say one of these games is accurate and the other isn't, I would say either Pittsburgh or Detroit would win over Jacksonville, and Carolina would. I'm not. I think. Yeah, I've seen them play. I just gotta remember who they played against. Oh yeah, they played the Titans, and they got beaten badly. And the nicest way to put it, they got pretty badly beaten. And lastly, the Minnesota Vikings and New England Patriots is your final game I will make my predictions on. Vikings, they only scored 25 against Philadelphia last week and lost. And New England had a forfeit win over Cincinnati. It feels like the Rams and Cleveland again. But I think I'm gonna go. If I went with Cleveland, I'm going with New England. So really, there's nothing else for. If I had to guess, like for these upcoming games, it's gonna be unusual as always. But considering D1 teams are going to play D6 teams, they should get easy wins. But I honestly don't know with this league at this point. And I'm going to let the New England franchise owner in here, and then I will let one of our server moderators, who I think is a player for Boise State, in as well. Unless I can just auto join, which I mean at that point that defeats the whole purpose. And I don't think he's accepted to speak yet, so I'm gonna let. I think boys. All right.
Okay.
I have no idea how to say your name. By the
My
way.
voice is pitched. I know that, but
My bottle's over here.
the Cardinals and the Washington game was played. I DM'd you. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, it was.
And the Cardinals did end up winning that one. So.
Well, Cardinals did win. Oh well. So you can throw that prediction out the window. So you are a Boise State player, correct?
Yes.
All right. So look, you were were you a part of the Raiders team that lost to the original Boise State team, or were you recently signed?
I was on that team, correct?
Oh. Looking up at your upcoming game against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, does it seem like you guys have a good enough team to go against this Notre Dame team, even though they had a forfeit loss last week?
I'd just like to point out we have recently transferred FO to a new member, and he has recruited some players to take out the weaker links on our team.
So, chance for some new players on this team to be seen in that game?
Yes.
Hmm. If I had to guess off the top of my head, I would say I think I might made my prediction that Notre Dame is winning. So I want people to prove me wrong in my predictions. Like I genuinely kind of want to be wrong because I want people to prove me wrong. But if they come
What
true,
was
then it's like
yours
I kind of predicted it to come true anyways. But
prediction?
I accidentally left.
What happened?
I accidentally left, but I'm back in. All right. So
Do
for
you think the Patriots are gonna win or no?
uh, they they do play the Vikings, and the Vikings. I mean, Patriots had a forfeit win in last week, but the Vikings actually played a game, and even though they only put up 25 points, I did go with the Patriots, but I don't know. Considering a forfeit win is like always that. I don't know if this team's really good considering it's a forfeit, which is what I never know. But I mean, I don't think I've got anything else to say. Oh wait, there's another moderator that wants to be in here. It's the LSU franchise owner. So I mean, if you two, Monkey Man and Verlu, I think that's your name. If you got nothing else to say, I would like for you to go back in the audience.
All right. Thank you.
So that the game against Cincinnati, or however you say it, bro.
Cincinnati,
Yeah,
Cincinnati.
the
yeah.
Bearcats.
They got some new teams, and I've been practicing them. But last time we did a scrim, they like cheated us out of that one like bad, like switching servers. But I know Sin and he's a good player, but I feel like it's an even chance to win and lose.
Mm. Bearcats and LSU Tigers. I honestly think that's probably going to be one of the more interesting college football games this week. As long as it's not a blowout or it ends on a forfeit.
No, we won't forfeit unless like we really have to.
Hmm.
But I got all new players, and trust me, they've been practicing.
Hmm. Well, if you've got nothing else left to say, I would like for you to kindly go back into the audience. And I thank you
All right,
for coming up here.
thank you.
Alright, so do either of you guys have anything to say regarding this upcoming, technically this underway, week 8? I will take that dead silence as a no. Oh, so, with that, representing the GFL media team, I am the Cowboy Crap. I thank you all for tuning in, and I hope to see you all in the rest of this week 8.
Yeah.
Goodbye.